Hello everyone, welcome to another Unranked Master. I've made it to the dreaded Emerald Elo, as I'm going to show you guys in a moment. Let's just make sure I don't get level 1 invaded here. So something that you guys have a lot of problems with, or at least something I noticed a lot in coaching sessions and people ask me in Twitch chat a lot, is how do you carry games as a scaling mage? The kind of champs that I'm thinking of are stuff like Azir or Victor or Asol. You know, those kind of champs where you really do have to be selfish in the early game because you're not actually that strong, especially into combos like this. Something like Sylas Viego that's much stronger in any early skirmish. So I'm going to show you guys in this video how to do that. Quickly show the OPGG. Like I said, the one gold player that's infiltrated his way into an Emerald game. I think Emerald is an elo that a lot of people struggle with because it's an elo where people have started to kind of get a bit better. So it's not just like, well, if you're an Emerald player, you're probably not just going to 1v9 stomp the games anymore. But also, like, people are still dumb enough that there's going to be lots of random stuff happening. So if you're playing one of these kind of scaling mages, one of the most important things you need to do is honestly bully your lane. Most of the strong scaling champs in mid at the moment, you know, again, the Azir, the Victor, and the Asol, they're actually pretty good in the 1v1. And as a scaling champion, like, you don't really want to look for skirmishes or anything. But what you can offer to your team is you can offer mid priority, which stops the enemy mid from roaming. You can use that mid priority to get wards. And also, because you're generally a strong 1v1 champ, you should have some sort of CS lead. But what you do have to obviously be aware of is that if you do have a skirmish, especially before, like, depending on the champ, but before like one item or before like level 9 or level 11, really, you know, depending on, you know, where your spikes are, that fight's not going to be that good for you, right? So in the early game, we're really going to focus again on that isolated 1v1. Now, I didn't actually check Viego's start. I'm assuming it was topside, but anyway, let's just come ward here. So what I want to do is I want to shove in these first 2 or 3 waves and try and punish my opponent as much as I can. But I do need to be a bit careful because the... what's it called? The Sylas has really good gank setup, and also they have a ganking jungler in the Viego. So I kind of want to let this wave come back to me. You do have to be careful though, because if you give up too much priority, then it's really easy for Sylas to just enter the river, right? That's why, if we can, we want to try keep the wave in the middle to where we have like a bit of safety, but we're also not giving him too much freedom. So I have to be quite careful. As long as I don't get hit by an E2, I should be in a good spot. But it's super important as one of these scaling picks that you know how to play selfishly, because if you don't and you take too many random fights, or you, I don't know, don't know what you need and get pulled around the map, that's like a really bad idea. So like, here would be an example. Sylas is going to go to this. I know that I'm too weak to contest it, so really my focus needs to be just shoving mid. It's unfortunate that she dies, but yeah, ultimately, it's I can't really help that, right? But you can see I have this really big lead 1v1 from just trying to harass my opponent whenever he comes to a CS. Whenever he uses cooldowns on the wave like that, I'll look to poke him out. You can see here he's using a lot of cooldowns on the wave, so I just get free harassed. And it is really important, again, that you are abusing the fact that most of these scaling champs tend to win 1v1, because scaling is very much like it's not as passive a playstyle as people think. There is definitely like AFK scaling, right? But there is also you know, actually active scaling, right? I'm just gonna hit this plant. So that was Sylas's flash. Now, even if I hadn't dodged that, I still would have lived because I had flash, and I was hugging to bot side. So just because I knew Viego was top and I was hugging to bot, I was fine. And honestly, that's really good for me, because Sylas using flash, that's one of his aggressive tools to like snowball this game. And now that's gone, we're going to be in a much better spot to, again, slow down the game. And that's really just all you're trying to do, is you want to make sure that your opponent never has any windows to either solo kill you, set up ganks on you, or go to another lane, right? And so right now it's like, okay, well, can I get ganked? Not really. As long as I save a W defensively, I can just shuffle away. Can Sylas roam anywhere? Also not really, like, he's a bit too low. Probably has a bit too much gold. There I just respect, because I know that right now he's actually pretty strong. So I'm just gonna like stay back, right? I know this wave is coming to me. I don't need to contest too hard. So I'm just kind of chilling. And again, I want to save a W at all times just so I can get away. If he does come up for these creeps though, we'll again try and look for harass. If we can make him use cooldowns to CS, that's really good, because then, well, then he can't use them on me, right? As you can see there, like if he's using them for the CS, makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Last hit some of these. I don't want to last hit them too early, just so again it makes sure it comes to me. Now, Sejuan's come in. This guy has no flash. The wave's in a gankable position, so I can try bait him here. Actually, just gonna go onto him. Should be dead. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm actually just gonna leave the wave in this position here. So if you see where the wave is now, This is a really good wave state for me because, again, the wave is still frozen. The only downside to this is Sylas might use this window to roam. We can probably stop that just by coming to the wave and contesting. I'll just go TP mid. Now, I do buy tier 2 boots. This is partially just because I have a lot of gold. Now, if you wanted to just have the maximum pressure on pushing the wave, it is better to buy a recurve bonus here. But if you want just like actual trading power, then normally it's better to go for Sork shoes. And I kind of like Sork shoes, or rather I like tier 2 boots if you're against, like, again, an aggressive mid jungle. Because the extra movement speed is really nice for kiting out. It's really good for disengaging or whatever. And it's quite good for trading when I'm ahead. So overall, I like the tier 2 boots buy. Now, here, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to shove this wave and set up vision. And I'm going to set up my vision bot side. And the reason for that is bot lane is... Well, actually, I was thinking about that. I was going to say bot lane is much more volatile than top lane. But I actually think that might be untrue. So normally, almost always, you want to ward to bot lane because, you know, if Sylas roams bot, he's, you know, going to get 2 kills rather than the 1 kill from top. I think this game, like, Smolder Lux should be pretty ungankable. Whereas, like, top lane actually is quite gankable. So, yeah. I mean, we could actually fight this, I think. So normally, you don't want to take river fights as Azir, right? The reason I'm able to do this is a couple things. One, I have a big item advantage over my opponent, and two, my jungler is just stronger than the Viego at the moment, right? Like, Viego is a champ that, once he has 6, is quite strong, but there was only level 5. So, you know, when you're looking for that sort of fight in River, this is a fight I only take, really, because I know what fights are good for me. And I know that a fight with a numbers advantage, where I can get there before Sylas, a fight with an item advantage, and when Viego was still, like, sort of weak, was, like, a good timing for me. But what do I need to be careful of now? I really, really don't want to fight. And so I really need to just try and figure out, you know, where is this Sylas going? And try prevent him from roaming. I'm actually going to freeze this wave outside my tower if I can, just to keep me safe, because right now I'm pretty low on health. If Sylas shows bot, then I'll fully commit to pushing this, but for now, I'll probably just, like, yeah, I'll probably try to keep it here. We see Sylas, and again, like, really try and do it all times to stop this guy from finding something elsewhere, right? We need to just make sure that Sylas comes out of this early game with virtually no kills. Could maybe stop this. Things I have to walk up to him and he can maybe look for me. Okay, so if he resets, that's completely fine, right? That means he's not making a play elsewhere. You could instantly reset here as well if you really want to deny him all access to making plays. I'm going to shove this wave instead, just because I'm greedy and want a bit more gold. And because we already have a ward down, we should be able to see Sylas roaming to anywhere and kind of warn them ahead of time. But you do have to realize that if you base one wave after your opponent, he does have a window to move, right? So let's say we're going to buy this, get a little bit of sustain. You could buy a pink over refillable here if you really wanted to prevent the roams. But I want a bit more HP just for straight up trading. So we're going to see. Now, what do we want right now? Probably we only want to fight around top side. I think bot lane is too weak. We kind of just want to ignore them. And we're like mega outscaling mid, right? So we're super, super happy with the way the game is going. All we need to do is just chill pretty much and keep the game slow. Right now, I'm just going to keep the wave in the middle. The reason is I don't have a ward to place, and I also have no vision top side and no vision bot side. So if you actually look at my map right now, it's very, very vulnerable, right? There's no vision for me whatsoever. And the only thing pushing does for me here is make me more vulnerable. Unless I feel like I can run down bot and like gank this lane, which I don't think it was realistic for me to get there in time, then the only thing to do really is just to keep this wave in the middle, try and deny as much as I can to Sylas. And again, like as these like scaling champs, typically if you have isolated 1v1, like that's really, really good for you. You know, it's in the 2v2s and the 3v3s early, that's when your champs kind of fall apart. I'm just going to shove this guy in the tower, and I think I should be able to get a kill. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a misplay by Sylas. He just doesn't know the matchup that well. You can't really dash forward onto the Azir when he's that close to his tower. That's another thing about keeping the wave in that position there, right? Is that because it's close to me, it's easy for me to just either retreat to my tower or throw him into my tower. Now here, again, normally don't want fights, right? But Sylas is dead, and I'm still actually quite strong here. I should be able to live. Just gonna go this way. Okay, and to be honest, I think this game is completely over. Like, if you ever get this far ahead as a scaling champ in the early game, it's done though, right? So, I mean, obviously I'm gonna, you know, keep playing, keep talking, but what were the main things this game? Honestly, like, I'd say wave control was the big thing, like, and just being aware of where the enemy jungler is, as well as placing good wards, right? It's just everything that allows you to slow down the game. Like, if you're playing one of these early game, or scaling champs, and you have a very slow early game, even if you don't get any kills, right? Even if you get to like 15 minutes and you're like not 0-0-0, but let's say you're like, I don't know, 0-0-2 or something, right? You've had a little bit of impact, but not a whole lot. You're really happy with that, right? Like, that's a really good outcome. And the main reason I think people, or at least when I coach them, struggle to snowball on these champs is either they're way too passive in lane, or they don't provide the right wards, or they end up dying to the mid jungle. So if you can kind of avoid those three things, you'll be in a good spot. Now here, we have a lot of vision bot side, right? So the only place sylas can go is top, but there's no, there's no Darius even in the lane right now, so no problem whatsoever. My bot lane is also reset. Now I do want to shove this way. So the reason I want to shove this one is because this time I have a ward, so I can push out and actually set up some vision, which is something I couldn't do before. So I'm going to shove this out. I'll probably place vision top side since I have so much vision bot. Maybe need to be careful. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Oh, my Q was on cooldown. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of a misplay by me there. So what was the misplay? One, I mean, I checked it too early without having my Q ready. Two, you generally shouldn't face check like that until someone shows mid, right? Because what should happen is like you push the wave, and then if they show mid, right, then you can walk in. Or if they don't show mid, then you wait because they're just missing a wave for free. So I got kind of greedy there. What I was thinking is that like, okay, they probably just started the grubs, but they actually didn't, right? This kind of death, it's pretty bad, honestly, because like, again, if you want a really slow game and like you're trying to make sure that the snowballing champs don't get started, then giving over what, like, yeah, 850 gold to Viego, that's pretty bad, right? Now, I think this game is like already over, so it doesn't really matter, but it's a good example, I guess, of one of the common mistakes, right? Is like face checking like what is weak side, and also skipping steps, like not waiting for your opponents to show mid when you should. And it also cost me in a big way because I was forced to reset, like I died, and I didn't actually have my gold for Nashu. So now I'm like stuck on the map, and I don't want to reset again, right? Not yet anyway. And that's all because of that like bad death there. And you can kind of, if you go back and look, I was like sort of aware that this might be a little risky, but I just got too greedy and skip steps, like I said. So we're going to keep shoving mid, and I could reset for Nash's, but I kind of don't want to. I could also look bot, but there's no gank setup really in this lane. So I think for now, the only thing to do is just pressure mid. I mean, I'm still a lot stronger than this guy, so yeah, we can continue to build this lead. And I will say the nice thing about, being a scaling champ like this is if you make that sort of death there as a champ that is, needs to snowball themselves, and then you give a kill to the enemy snowballing champ, that could be like a really scary game state, right? But here, I think, even though I gave a kill to the, one of the snowballing champs, I'm already, scaling so incredibly hard in this game that it almost doesn't matter, right? Like, I honestly think it's pretty irrelevant. But it is like I said, a common mistake, which is why it's important. So, and also I actually could have got out if I played it a tiny bit better, thinking about it more. I just waited my Q a tiny bit longer. But anyway, here I'm hugging top side just because I know Viego is bot side. I want to continue this isolated 1v1, right? Like really try and bully this sylas as much as I can. And because I have so much control right now, I feel pretty comfortable walking up in the lane. Like this guy's low. I have my ulti. I had Sedge next to me. Possible Viego is still here, but I think now sylas is so low that it probably isn't really like a feasible gank. Yeah. I mean, I could even go under his tower. I'm just a little worried of like dying to Viego immediately after. By the way, right, like you can see, because we're pinning sylas to this tower, never any winner to roam. And when you guys, after this video, I'll probably record like Victor and Aesol as well, try to get all three of the like scaling bullies out of the way. Like you'll see the exact same thing, like really just trying to hard bully the lane into scaling and then just like winning the game from there. I'm just gonna drop this tower and reset. So now, like this is normally the stage of the game where you really want to look for fights, right? Like most of these champs tend to spike very, very hard on one item, and level 11, and that can be, there's lots of champs in the game like that. Some of them are strong on specific spikes before them, like take Akali as an example. Like Akali is very strong every time she has ult, but she's also very strong with like completed first item. And take a champ like LeBlanc, LeBlanc obviously has good ganks up, it's quite good in early skirmishes, but she really comes online at like Ludens and level 11. So like being very aware of what your champ's spike is also quite important. And yeah, now we're basically Thanos compared to the sylas, so fights should be very, very favorable for us. Now, obviously, we did get a little lucky this game because, we have the we have the winning top laner, which is important because that gives us like one side of the map that we can always lean to. It can be difficult to play scaling champs, like if your entire map is losing, but honestly, like it's difficult to play anything when your entire map is losing, right? Like it's just gonna be hard. So what are we doing now? I mean, again, just pushing this wave up as far as we can. If we can, we want to go into the side lane, but it might not ever get to that point just because I feel like the enemy team's kind of just given up. I'm not too sure. But anyway, what we'll just do is keep trying to farm, take any fights with our jungler that we can. Gonna get out of here. Good TP behind bot, maybe. Problem is I just used my dash. Yeah, I think we can kill him. If Sedge goes this way. Yeah, looks like a dead Sivir. Yeah, just using my TP to come get a free kill. Maybe I'll get the Yuumi. Oh, give me that. Oh, delicious. Okay, so now we're in the side lane, which is what we want. So when you get in the side lane, again, like most of these champs, your Auris, your Victors, etc., tend to win the side lane unless you're against something that's very, very good at side laning, like Fiora or Tryndamere or something. This game, they do have a Trynd, but he's very, very far behind. So you really want to make sure you're pushing the wave all the way in, taking as much farm as you can. Here I know that this dragon is already secured, so I'm just going to keep pushing the side lane, and I'll try and take any additional camps. Like I could look at blue buff, I could look at Gromp if it were up. Alternatively, if no one answers you, you just keep pushing, and you just keep scaling, right? If Viego comes and fights me, I'll probably just kill him. Ooh, I'm gonna Yuumi with him as well, didn't think about that. I think I should be fine. Might have to flash, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to get out. I actually forgot about the Yuumi. Dude, I don't see Yuumi at all these days. Now, I do have to be a bit careful here. I don't want to end up giving over my bounty. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I think I'm dead. Yeah, that was nicely played by Viego, to be honest. Yeah, it was well played by him. Now, I did have a lot of gold there, so there's an argument that I should have just been leaving a little bit earlier, right? Like, fighting with 1800 gold is generally not the play. I think we could have won, though. You know, if I didn't end up getting picked by Viego, probably would have been fine. But yeah, like I said, I think the game is, it feels so good. Like, I don't know if it looks close to you guys, but to me it looks completely over. Like, yeah, we've got 2 dragons. I'm close to death cap. It's going to be so hard for them. So what are we doing again now? So when you respawn, you want to identify like which lane do you want to roam, or which like lane do you want to farm. So right now, I probably want to farm bot if I can. Smolder's going to go mid. But realistically, you just farm whenever you can. What Lux is doing here is pretty bad for me. Actually, really, really bad for me, because it means that I can't... It's going to be difficult to get to this next wave because she's shoving it, you know? And I would like to take these krugs and then go to the wave, but the problem is... Well, I guess I should take the krugs anyway. I don't know. The problem is, like, because she's pushing the wave like this, I have to overextend way further to get the next wave. Like, I guess she needs it for an item or something, but it's really, really bad for me that she does that. But, oh well, we'll just deal with it. You can see how quickly I do the krugs there, by the way. That's another OP thing of all these kind of scaling mages. So I'm going to go to the side. I am quite close to death cap, but obviously I need to be quite careful because my lane is very shoved and I have no vision bot side. Now I could take a guess and be like, okay, they were bot side before. It's more likely that they're top side. As you can see, guesses don't always pay off. But I do have this tower next to me, so I should be... I think I can fight this guy. They're going to try 1v3 me. I think I can just... get on out of here. Pretty sure. Yeah, that looks like I'll be able to disengage. That was pretty annoying. I expected them actually to be topside because I thought Viego would have been bot and cleared the camps before. It's possible he just ignored all his top camps, which is... Yeah, that could be like an elo thing maybe. You know, like I think in high-low maybe they would go for the camps. Because it's not like I did have any bounty or anything. But anyway, we managed to get out. And I got my death cap now, so we're feeling very, very good. And we'll just keep going bot. Now, I could maybe come mid first, because I don't have TP, but I have TP soon, so I think it should be okay for me to go to the side lane. Like, yeah, I'll just ping that maybe this is, like, risky. I'll just say, wait me, and hopefully they play it a little slowly. Viego's actually doing a good job. He's finding lots of picks. But, yeah, I really don't think it's going to matter. So what are we playing for next? Just playing for this next dragon. Now that I have 2 items, I'm, well, even stronger than before, right? Like, I was ready to fight on 1. I'm ultra ready to fight on 2. So I'm just going to shove this bot lane as far as I can, and then we'll look at any jungle camps again. So, shove this all the way in. Just going to be careful maybe of face checking Sylas. I think that he can't actually kill me, but if I face check him, like maybe he could. And I'll try drop deep vision. That should allow me to keep pushing. Okay, so we see Sylas. Are there any other bot camps up? So there's nothing else for us really to do right now, except we can take this grab. So again, this is just plus 4 CS, which isn't a huge amount, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's also a little bit of vision secured. Probably come take this away as well. I think warding this bush could be good too, just for the upcoming dragon fight. Now, you could go back and take krugs at the moment, and I probably will after shoving this wave. And as you can see, Viego's coming bot side, so it's kind of scary for me to keep pushing. But I can come and do the krugs. And like Sejuani is pretty far away, so it's probably a pretty good time for me to do them. Like it's unlikely for Sej to come to these krugs before the dragon spawns anyway. So it's just kind of making the most of our efficiency on the side lane. It is always better to take away enemy jungle camps if you can. You might be unable to. Now I could TP to Baron. I think I will. So we just saw that their jungler was bot side, which means we can actually just one-shot them. This is partly because we have such high DPS, and honestly, I'm very impressed that Sejuani made this call, because I think that, well, I don't really see this outside of very high layers, so yeah, that is pretty impressive. Now, as you can see, Baron is secured. I'll probably reset and just spend my gold before the next fight, and what am I going to buy? It's a little bit weird, but it actually might be a good Rylai's game. Let me see. Rylai's? Yeah, I mean, this can still become a Liandry's. Yeah, so the only reason is that they have a lot of short range and not actually a lot of health. That makes the Rylai's pretty good. Let's walk out bot side here and see. Maybe I can save this tower. Oh, well, I mean, I did save the tower, but I didn't get the kill. Oh, he ghosted. I mean, honestly, I wonder if him ghosting is, like, worse than dying. It actually might be. Ooh, I think I might be dead here. Okay, nice. Good heal by the Sedge. Ooh, nice little dodge. Boulder didn't block me. Oh, okay, well, anyway, we got 3 kills. I'll just instantly reset. Or am I greedy? Could greed for my Rylai's. I think I will. So I actually will greed here. So the reason is that Trinimir was so low that he would have based. Don't think Lux is going to be... Or not Lux. Sivir is going to be bot. Yeah, so I can actually greed for my Rylai's here and just push. So again, try and push the wave in as far as I can without dying. Should be able to do one more and grab this Rylai's here. So shove this. And then we will just reset. I could, if I'm ultra greedy, I could go for that Grom, but given that I already have my spike, it actually might be better just to reset now anyway and just get back on the map, like, ready to pressure. So let's go... Where are we going next? I think, given that the bot wave's already pushed in, I'll probably just group mid, and we could look to siege. I mean, we probably need to play mid bot anyway. Yeah, so I'm pretty far from bot, I think. I was going to take these Raptors if they were up, but... Huh? I don't really want to be alone right now because I don't have TP, so I kind of want to be grouped if possible. Oh, this guy's way overextended. Just gonna come fight him. I just want to get him away from the wave, man. I don't actually care about killing him. And then we have some wave here, so this should be fine. I just want to start taking towers. Someone has to deal with top as well. He could cut my next wave, but I think I have enough creeps here in order to take a tier 2 tower. So that should be all good. Someone should go defend top. Ideally, I don't want it to be me, because I take towers so quickly. I mean, look at this. I absolutely murdered this tower. Certainly he's going to keep going, though. I guess I'll go answer him. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I'd kind of prefer to keep going. What am I building after this? Not sure yet. I'll think about it. Okay. Is this guy just committing? I guess so. But I'll just shove him away. Hopefully he doesn't go over the wall. I think he's dead anyway. 1 HP. Probably should have shoved him a different way. But anyway, ooh, they're actually looking for end. Maybe if only one of us had recalled, like maybe a Smolder was still there. Anyway, I can't get to that fight in time, right? So I'm just going to shove the top wave. And in the meantime, I'll also take extra camps. So I'll quickly come and take this Grom. And then I'll keep going. Now I could maybe go take wolves as well, but I think probably better to shove top. How are they doing? Yeah, they're doing pretty good. So because, again, I can't get to the fight in time, the best thing I can do is try and pressure it elsewhere, which in this case is just pushing top. Now, it looks like they won the fight anyway, so they're going to end. But you can see by the end of this, you know, the enemy mid, most importantly, only has 3 KP. And a lot of that is because we pinned him mid, avoided most of the ganks. I did die to 1, but I made sure to have good vision. I had a lot of pressure over my lane, and just in general made life kind of difficult for him to get the ball rolling, right? I really should have stopped pushing top and just run here, but I think they're going to end anyway, so might as well just grab some side lane gold while we're at it. Do I actually need to come to this? Oh, I better walk here just in case. But I think they end. Alright. So, yeah, the main things I'd be taking away from this game is, as a scaling mage, like really knowing what fights you want and don't. I think the most important things to take away from this one is just kind of how to slow the game down and realizing that playing a scaling playstyle doesn't necessarily mean that you play passive. Still really important that you play aggressive in lane and that you're wasting the enemy jungler's time, you're placing deep wards, you are still looking for the fights that you know are good fights, right? And avoiding fights that you know aren't good fights. it's really, really important that you are able to play selfishly, but you've got to realize that just playing to scale does not mean AFK farming. And I think that's like a big misconception a lot of people have, because if anything, it's actually the opposite. Like, you need to be playing aggressively enough to like bring focus to mid, or to keep enabling that isolated 1v1 to make sure that things aren't happening in the river, right? To make sure Sylas can never move, to make sure Viego isn't ganking other lanes and stuff like that. Really abusing the fact that most of these champs that are bad at early skirmishing tend to be very good at 1v1. So I'll try record some Victor and ASOL games as well. So if you like this kind of playstyle, you'll probably see more of that repeated in the coming videos. But anyway, if you did like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.